Welcome. Welcome to the United States of America.
Dozens of white South Africans landed at Dulles International Airport on Monday as refugees, fleeing what they say is racial discrimination in their home country.
Deputy Secretary of State Chris Landau was there to greet the Afrikaners after an executive order from President Trump prioritised their resettlement in the United States, despite the suspension of a broader refugee programme back in January.
Trump on Monday defended the move, claiming that a genocide was taking place in South Africa. Take a listen.
Farmers are being killed. They happen to be white, but whether they're white or black makes no difference to me. But white farmers are being brutally killed, and their land is being confiscated in South Africa. And the newspapers and the media, television media, doesn't even talk about it. If it were the other way around, they'd talk about it. That would be the only story they'd talk about.
The South African government has denied those allegations, saying in a statement last Friday, quote, "We reiterate that allegations of discrimination are unfounded. The South Africa Police Service statistics on farm-related crimes do not support allegations of violent crime targeted at farmers generally or any particular race. Moreover, even if there are allegations of discrimination, it is our view that these do not meet the threshold of persecution required under domestic and international refugee law."
Meanwhile, CNN had a fiery debate about this topic after one panelist suggested the white South Africans should go back to Germany. Watch this.
Part of that is that the people who are native to that land deserve their rightful land back. That is not what the Afrikaners actually want to have happen. That is what they are saying is discrimination. If the Afrikaners don't actually like the land, they can leave that country.
They are. They're leaving to come here.
No. They can
These
leave
refugees
and go,
are coming here.
They can actually leave and go to where their native land is, which is probably Germany.
Are you against them coming here?
Holland, probably. Holland.
To go back to Germany. I wanted to play that clip to show that some of the incoherence here on the, like, everybody go back to where they came from, which I thought was supposed to be a nativist right-wing talking point, but is, first, I guess, also a kind of cultural progressive talking point. I think it's very, we're all a mixed, trying to give back to whoever it is. Like, we can't sort those things out anymore. Everyone is from somewhere else. We all come from what, the eastern side of Africa to begin with, is where all of humanity originates from. So I guess we all have to go back there. It's very silly to me.
Well, I mean, it is very silly. I don't agree with that. But I do think that it is outrageous, honestly, that Trump is on one hand halting a refugee resettlement program for everybody else except Afrikaners. I mean, that just seems completely indefensible to me. He halted that resettlement program, leaving 12,000 people in limbo. You have, for example, Afghans who helped the United States, whatever one thinks of the war there, helped the United States, are now in danger of their lives, can't come here. People suffering horrific situations in Democratic Republic of Congo or Sudan or numerous places around the world can't come here. And then we had a White House spokesperson who we didn't quote there, talking about a commitment to human rights being central to the America First agenda. I mean, that's a ludicrous claim when refugee status is being denied to people who have already cleared all the bars needed to gain that status. And what is happening? You have these 49 Afrikaners brought in and hailed as some victory for human rights. Just briefly, Robby, on the South Africa point, one of the elements of evidence for the lack of discrimination is that whites in South Africa are still in a very advantageous position relative to the black population, owning about 75% of farmland with just 7% of the population, about 20 times as wealthy as black South Africans on average, about 3 times less likely to be unemployed. So this is just nonsense and an appeal to racial grievance, as I said in the show yesterday.
I have no firsthand knowledge of the situation in South Africa. I can't speak to it whatsoever. I frankly don't care. They are welcome to come here if they're facing racial discrimination or not. I don't have any objection to them.
Do you care about the Afghans?
Well, let me finish what I was saying. I was going to say next.
Okay.
I do not agree with terminating the Afghan resettlement project at all. I think we went there and destroyed their country, and these people who sided with us and helped us, absolutely, we should make things right with them, and they should be able to come here. I don't agree with halting that program at all. I am generally pro-immigration, more pro-immigration than most people on the right. My faction kind of lost that battle, so we have to deal with what we have to deal with and make the affirmative case for immigrants to come into this country that are going to, frankly, survive political scrutiny, are going to be welcomed enough. Again, if I was running the country, if I was saying things, I would bring in all sorts of people. But there is widespread concern about immigrants and crime and the welfare state and how all those things impact. I think the Trump administration, whatever they're saying about human rights here, it's not really about human rights. We can't bring all the, we're sad for them and it's sorry for them, and I don't want to make their countries worse. I don't want to overthrow their leaders. I don't want to have any intervention in them that makes them worse, but we can't just bring all the world's poor and starving and dispossessed here. We just can't do it. There's no political, you recognize there's no political even if you and I were okay doing it, there's not enough political will to do it. We can't do that. This specific group is not, it's fine if they come, it's not going to, doesn't do anything negative.
The point, Robby, isn't really, you're talking about the broader issue of migration and who is economically advantageous to the country. This is about a refugee program, separate even from asylum claims, that has typically been capped at, around 60,000 people a year. Now, Trump has suspended the whole thing, accepting these people. Now, it is not, the issue of whether someone is a legitimate refugee or not is completely separate from what economic gains they might bring here, or this argument, which I think you were making about whether they would be welcomed. Well, welcomed by whom? Are black Americans going to be thrilled by the importation of Afrikaners, who were, after all, by heritage, the people who were the drivers of apartheid? I mean, presumably not. So this idea that refugee status should hinge upon either economic well-being or English language or whiteness, I mean, those just seem enormously toxic and wrong criteria to adopt.
I mean, that's the views of millions and millions of Americans that...
Well, millions and millions of Americans are often wrong about all sorts of things.
Well, the citizens of the country have decided that they want less immigration into their country. I mean, do you disagree with that? That is the clear mandate of the people in choosing Donald Trump, is to turn down the Nile on immigration to some degree. And, I'm trying to argue to keep the H-1B visa plan in place, to still admit as many high-skilled immigrants from all over the world as we can. And yes, and then to prioritize the deportations in this country to only deal with gang members and criminals, not just going door to door and people who've been here and not causing any trouble for a long time. I'm doing my best, my friend. I don't know, what else do you want from me? There is not a public appetite to bring all of the refugees in the world here.
It's not, we never did bring all of the refugees in the world here. If we bring 60,000 refugees here, that is easily accommodated in a nation of 330 million people. And the basis on which you get that status should be on well-founded fear of persecution, not because you're white or Elon Musk likes you. Anyway, Republicans accusing Democrats of launching their own January the 6th, the showdown at a New Jersey ICE detention facility next.